Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Master of Science in Operations Management information session. My name is Karen Hickenbotham, and I will be your moderator for today. I am the program manager of the Masters of Science of Operations Management, as well as the 3 graduate certificates, which is what we're here to cover today. So welcome, everyone. And if you could please save your questions for the end. We'll be happy to answer any that you may have, and you will have the chat available to you to enter those questions. If you could please save those for the end. So let's go ahead and get started, as I still see others joining. This information session is to basically let you know what we offer, what our program offers. We are in the College of Engineering under the Department of Industrial Engineering in the Operations Management Department. So we have a Master's of Science, we have Operations Management, Engineering Management, and Engineering. As for our graduate certificates, we offer Project Management, Lean Six Sigma, and Homeland Security. So the Masters of Science in Operations Management and the Engineering Management and the Engineering degree options all require 10 graduate courses. There are 4 required core for each program. The electives will be different between each one, and you would work individually with your advisor on which possible path that would be best for you. They are 100% online. We offer 5-week sessions, and we'll get to the admissions criteria here pretty quickly. But what we want to kind of cover right now is operations management. Operations management basically has professionals that can plan, lead, manage business operations. Operations management uses industrial engineering techniques to enable individuals and organizations to maximize effectiveness and make superior decisions. So what can you do with an OM degree? We get this question a lot. I usually tell people, you could probably do anything with this, considering it applies to industry, it applies to every department, and you don't necessarily need to be an engineer to utilize the strategies and the content that this program delivers. So of course you could be an operations manager. This also reaches far across disciplines in human resources, construction manager, data analytics, project management, industrial action, finance, banking, and investments. Even reaches across the nonprofit sector, of course in the government and military operations, and operations research analyst. So the job pay outlook, just to give you an idea of what our graduates kind of salary range, depending on what sector they're in. With finance and insurance, it could be anywhere starting between 70 and 80,000, working the way up to the federal government level, which will get you into the 6-figure category. So why Masters of Science in Operations Management? Well, first of all, we are the largest graduate program on campus. We were established in 1974, and just to break down some of the numbers for you, we have over 5,000 students prepared to become leaders for business, industry, military, and advance their careers. 90% of students completing this degree are full online and from anywhere in the country. 7 instructors who have been evaluated and been found to have real-world experience and practical knowledge. And what we say, what you learn today, you can use tomorrow. We have 35 total graduate courses in the Masters of Science and Operations Management program, offered each semester online and or live in class. And we do have a course matrix that I will refer you to at the end of the program. So again, why MSOM? Like I just said, learn it today, use it tomorrow. Operations management is a high-wage, high-demand field spanning over numerous industries. We are 100% online, video synchronous or evening classes on campus. So we are very military friendly, and our video synchronous courses allow all students across the United States to actually have an in-class experience when they're not able to actually attend on campus here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. There is no out-of-state tuition for U.S. residents. So we have a tuition rate and then one flat online fee. To complete the degree, it's going to be about less than $15,000, both for domestic and international students. You can learn from professors with current and relevant business experience. These are STEM-oriented courses designed to meet tomorrow's needs. Again, there's only 10 graduate courses, there's 4 required core, and then 6 electives, and you must finish with a 3.0 GPA, which is a B average or better. These flexible plans let you choose classes that are beneficial to your goals, and that is where you would have an advisor that would work one-on-one with you each semester, or excuse me, each term actually, that would be most beneficial to you. And I will cover this in just a moment, you can earn graduate certificates concurrently with your Master's of Science without taking any extra classes. It's what I tell students called double dipping. So what would count as an elective in the master's degree would also count as a requirement for the graduate certificates. So the graduate certificates, what do we offer? You can earn a graduate certificate separately or as part of your MSOM degree without any additional coursework. So the graduate certificates that we offer are in program management, which is our most popular currently, but gaining speed on those are Lean Six Sigma and Homeland Security. So what these graduate certificates comprise of, there's only 4 classes. You can earn a 2.5 undergraduate GPA to enter. There's no GRE or test scores required to enter into the certificate. These are standalone, or again, you can earn concurrently if you are in the Master's of Science program. So what does project management do? Well, it's designed to provide skills to become a better project manager and prepare for the professional certification. If you have any more questions about that, we'll be free to answer those at the end of the session. So Lean Six Sigma, this is to learn how to eliminate problems, remove waste, reduce variation, and improve operations. And then last, our Homeland Security certificate is designed for industry and safety professionals to learn how to mitigate risk. So all of these right now, I can honestly say are very relevant in the world we are living in, especially in this new normal that we're all adjusting to as well. So again, why MSOM? So there are no GRE or GMAT if your undergraduate GPA is 3.0 or better. Now I'm going to cover some temporary changes here in just a moment. You can enter from any undergraduate degree. I have students who have a history degree, who have a psychology degree, and still in their professional world still find every single course that they take in this program very relevant to their professional lives. There are 5 8-week sessions a year. We don't go by semesters, we go by sessions. So we actually admit students on a rotating basis in August, October, January, March, or May. Excuse me, not admit, you can register for classes in those 5 terms. Complete as fast as 1 year, or you can take up to 6 years to finish. And this is a no thesis program. At the very end of the program, you will be required to complete a comprehensive exam to basically showcase what you have learned and how you've applied it or will apply it in the future. And that is really what we're here to make sure, that you are learning and that you can go out and apply this. Some of the perks of our program, we have an alumni society that is a very good way to network with other professionals, stay in contact with colleagues and classmates that you've worked on projects for. And then we also have a scholarship that we give out once a year. It is an application process. So the special announcement for admissions for anyone that's looking to enter into the program, effective for summer and fall terms for 2020. At the time, we are waiving the GRE for applicants with a 2.5 to a 2.99 undergraduate GPA. Applicants with above a 3.0 GPA are automatically waived for any term with admission exceptions. Once the GRE testing centers resume operations, the standard admission requirements will go back and into full effect. So how do I apply? Well, with the Master's of Science in Operations Management admission process, the application is actually free for you right now. You can find that at application.uark.edu. If you are a undergrad U of A student already, your transcripts will already be on file. We do not require any resumes, letters of recommendation, or personal statements required. Prerequisites don't need to be completed for admission, but they are required to start the program and prerequisites to other classes. So depending on previous coursework taken in whatever undergraduate degree you do have, we've got law and ethics, which is basically business law, industrial cost analysis, which is accounting. So I've seen we pretty much take any accounting, introductory accounting course, financial, managerial, or introduction to accounting. Applied statistics, and this can be from any discipline. So if you were in the social sciences and took behavioral statistics, we will take that. If you were in engineer and mathematics and took a different statistics for that. Business majors, we have a lot of BBA students coming in with their probability and statistics course. So any statistics from any discipline will suffice. And then finally, our intro to decision support tools. This is an advanced Excel class, and this enables you to have the tools that you need in order to basically succeed and be very successful in your classes in your program. However, we understand that we take a lot of professionals from a lot of different disciplines with many years experience. And if you feel that your skills are up to par for the requirements of the program, we have a free proficiency exam available that was developed by one of our instructors. And you can test out of it, basically CLEP out of it. There is no charge for this. Again, you be provided information and a study guide, and simply go on and schedule your exam and take that, pass with a 70% better, and we will waive that prerequisite. Your transcripts are reviewed for undergraduate equivalency. So for instance, like I was stating with the statistics course, those can be from any discipline. So I wanted to make this short in order for you to ask your questions. So closing remarks, the summer admission deadline is May 14th. That's coming up. And we host and offer a free webinar series to anyone that is interested in learning more about what our program does, what experience our instructors have, and relevant topics that are in the news today. The one coming up is on May 28th. It's called Maintenance Isn't Just About Grease. It's at noon Central Standard Time, just like this webinar is. And it's basically covering document maintenance. And I think it's a very relevant topic right now because Jim Bergen is going to cover what happens when you've got colleagues who upload all documents that only they can see or only they have access to. And then all of a sudden, you're in a quarantine, you're in isolation, we're in a pandemic. So what do? What is the best way to maintain those documents? And I think every single person right now is living through that. So I think it's going to be a great webinar. You can check out our YouTube channel for various operation management topics. Again, these are very relevant topics taught by our instructors and also presented by instructors in the field. So these links will be provided in a follow-up email, or you can simply email us at msom@uark.edu. So I'm going to open it up. I've got Carol Altman here, who's the Assistant Director of the Management of the Operations Management Program, and she's here also to help answer your questions. And I see we've got some already going down in the chat, so let's go ahead and get right to it. Okay, so Carol Altman, the Assistant Director, she has listed the different links to apply, more information about the prereqs, and answer any questions you might have on those, and also the link to register for our next webinar. And Carol, I'm going to open it up to you while we're waiting on some questions to come in. Do you have anything to add to let folks know what we're all about?
Thank you, Corin. This is Carol Altum, again, the Assistant Director of the program. I am in charge of admissions and any student-related issues, so we are here for you. If you have any questions even after this webinar, feel free to contact me or Corin. Again, I just want to highlight that the GRE is now waived because testing centers are closed because of the pandemic. And so this is a great way to enter in the program very quickly. You will need your official transcript submitted, but the GRE is waived for those with a GPA of 2.5 or above for undergrad. So if you did better in the latter part of your undergrad and your GPA for the last 60 credit hours is higher than your cumulative, then we will also look at that. We want to make sure that we accept as many students as possible with a 2.5 GPA or higher. So that's either your cumulative or your last 60 credit hours leading up to your degree.
No. If you do have a question, again, utilize the chat area of this webinar and type your question at the bottom there.
Okay, we do have a question from Deja Evans. Can you obtain multiple certificates or only one? So that is a great question. You could obtain multiple certificates, as many certificates as you'd like. We currently offer 3, and if you plan your academic, your degree plan correctly, then you will, if you want to do all 3, you could do all 3 of them in conjunction with your MSOM degree and only take 11 classes. So, but most of our students do the MSOM degree and the project management certificate, and with that certificate, you could, all those classes in the certificate are classes you could pull into your MSOM degree. So you will just take the required 10 graduate courses for the MSOM degree and complete both. But you would have to work with your advisor to make sure that you take the correct classes to complete both the degree and the certificates. That's a great question. Thank you, Deja.
And Andrea's got a question here. It says, I'm currently enrolled with the U of A eVersity. Are my classes able to be transferred? Are you able to access my transcripts since they are U of A? So it would depend, Andrea, on what classes you had taken. So we would need to review those transcripts. And that is a great question. And Carol, I'm not sure, would they still have to provide their eVersity transcript, or would we automatically have that?
That's a great question. I don't know if I've ever seen a U of A eVersity transcript. I'm assuming that we would need them sent to the U of A Fayetteville campus.
Yeah, we would have to check up on that. And Andrea, we can certainly get back with you on that. And I'm writing that down right now to follow up on. And Abby, thank you, Andrea. And Abby says, if you take the prerequisite classes through Sailor, how are the tests for those classes facilitated? Is it through Sailor or through U of A? So the Sailor courses, that's a great question. Sailor.org offers free online courses in 3 out of 4 of our prereqs required. You can sign up for those, take those. Once you take the exam, you will be issued a certificate of completion, and that needs to be provided to your advisor in order for us to post that on your degree evaluation. So it is not through U of A, it is through Sailor.org. You would go online and register an account, and then you would go in and, again, work with your advisor who you are assigned to make sure that you did sign up for the correct business law class, accounting, and or statistics class. And Stephen says, are there any graduate certificates recognized as professional development or professional certification by any external bodies? I asked with the goal of maximizing my credentials. That's a great question. Carol, do you want to cover that on the PMI part and Lean Six Sigma?
Yeah, Stephen, that's a great question. For project management, for the project management certificate, these are graduate level certificates. They follow the PMP body of knowledge. So if we do have students who are interested in getting the PMP credential, and because they go through our graduate certificate program, and they have the classroom hours for the PMP certificate, they use that knowledge to take the exam. So I guess to answer your question is no, you would have to, it prepares you for the exam, but it's not part of the exam is not part of the graduate certificate. So but it does follow the body of knowledge. I'm not as familiar with Lean Six, but I think it does. And if anyone is on here that can answer that, I'm not sure who of our staff members, maybe Blake
We
or
have
Greg could answer.
we have our director, Dr. Greg Parnell. He wishes to weigh in. If not, Steve and I am totally happy to gather all of that information up for you and send out an email and copy everyone who is in on this information session as well, so they're aware. And
Okay.
Dr. Parnell does say that Lean 6 does follow the body, Stephen, so I hope that answered your question. So Stacy is weighing in and asked if you graduated from U of A up here in Northwest Arkansas, you already have access to our transcripts. We do, and like we said earlier, only outside of the U of A Fayetteville institution. So if you were at another U of A system school, such as Arkansas Tech or UAFS or any of those others, we would need those requested and submitted to the graduate school. But yes, U of A Fayetteville campus, we will have access to those transcripts. Okay, any other questions we might have? And our marketing coordinator, Blake Chapman, also weighed in and says that the Lean Six Sigma certificate does follow the IASSC body of knowledge, Stephen, just to follow up on that. Any questions about coursework or what types of industries you all are in right now and how that would benefit you? You know, your questions will probably answer others' questions that maybe they haven't thought of yet. So Stephen weighs in and says, if you're attempting to acquire two or more certifications on the way to the MSOM degree, would you be required to apply to graduate with each individually, or could they be combined into a single graduation window to minimize the graduation expense? Great question. The way the graduate school is set up is that it will be a separate application for graduation and graduation fee. That also includes on the admission side. So if you were an MSOM student and were adding certificates, then there would be a separate $30 application fee, even though your original application fee is waived. And the same goes on the graduation side. There would be a separate application for that as well as a graduation fee. And again, think about, you know, where you're at now, maybe where you want to be, where, you know, how does this apply to me? You know, those are great questions to ask because we want you to feel extremely comfortable in your decision and be very confident that when you do finish our program, you will come out with knowledge that will help you to continue to be successful in your field, at your company, whether or not grow with them or grow your team or how this would, you know, be beneficial to others that you work with. Help your company. Once we do come out on the other side of this, it's probably most likely going to be a very different world. So Stacy comes in and says, I'm in fiscal operations and wanting to make sure this would have classes that would help me. Kara, would you like to weigh in on that for Stacy? She's in fiscal operations.
Hi, Stacy. Yeah, we have students and graduates and, like Karin said, all sectors, all industries. If you're in fiscal operations, I mean, it just depends if you want to stay in fiscal operations or if you want to move up. Let me just give you a general answer. A lot of students look at a master's program and they're always comparing us to an MBA because that's where they end up. They want a master's, they want a broad degree, and they end up looking at us, even though we're in the College of Engineering, we're a management program, and we have students in every field. If you want to stay in fiscal operations, of course, a master's degree looks good on a resume, but we also we have classes in finance management for operations managers, which I teach, and we also have an equivalent course, but a little different, is the econ decision making. And so those two classes, because they are one of our core classes, is really, we recognize it as very important. So you kind of get the finance side of that, but I would think so. If you want to advance in fiscal operations, I would say so. You could chat with me later, and we could talk about different classes if you'd like, and I'll reach out to you after this.
Great, thank you, Sarah. Brian brings up a great question and talks about, he says, I'm finishing my undergrad and still need to take one more math class. Would Intro to Stat 227 count as my statistics prerequisite, or would it have to be a higher level statistic class? Okay, and then you did follow up and said that you just saw that Intro to Stat was on Sailor. If you are needing if you are needing a math class to finish your undergraduate, okay, we require statistics at the lower level. It does not be at the 5,000 or 6,000 level. So anything at the 4,000 level or senior level will count. So in order not to have to take a math class for your undergrad and then turn around and take another stat class that would be time consuming, I would suggest go ahead and taking the stat class that satisfies both the undergraduate degree and then again on the other end of satisfying for our program, the prereqs in our program. So I hope that answered your question. And again, we can privately follow up if you have any other continuing or further questions about that. So Yvonne says, do the pre-requirements apply to the certs the same as the degree? No, they do not. If you are just earning a certificate by itself and you are not in the MSOM program, prerequisites are not required to take the 4 required classes for the certificates. Thank you for that question. And Deja says, are there career counselors available to discuss different career opportunities for those of us looking for a career change? Depending on, Deja, if you are a current student or not, you can, of course, utilize career services, but our advisors on staff here are very knowledgeable and very capable of either being able to answer your questions and or seek out the information for you. We have a wide network of professionals here that would be happy to answer some questions about possible career change or what direction you are going, depending on your current situation. Okay, all very good questions, and I want to thank Lisa Milligan. She is one of our advisors in the program. She did post the link to the catalog, probably to give you an additional resource to look at course descriptions, prerequisites, and other information. So Stacy says, can you please repeat what you said about prereqs for the certificate? Sure. So one of the questions was, do you need any prerequisites to complete the certificates? The answer is no, standalone. So you would need to just be a student for the project management certificate or the Lean Six Sigma certificate without being an MSOM student. If you are an MSOM student, those prereqs will be required, and then you would still go on to earn those certificates, but standalone certificates do not require prereqs. You're very welcome, Stacey. And again, these are all really great questions. And you can answer any questions about what the admission process is like, timetable on when you could start your courses. You can, we have one summer session. Since we do have 5 sessions a year, we have 2 sessions in the fall term and 2 sessions in the spring term, but we have 1 session in the summer, which is still 8 weeks, even though the rest of the university, the majority of them are on a 2 5-week session, but ours is going to be 1 8-week session in the summer. The other good thing, having 2 sessions in each term, is that you, depending on your career, depending on responsibilities, you can take a class in 8-week 1 and or 8-week 2. You don't necessarily have to take both, depending on how quickly you want to finish, and that would be a long-term plan that you would work out with your advisor. But that enables some flexibility that if you know you're going to be traveling or if you know there's going to be a heavy workload anytime during the year, you can adjust the classes that you register for. Stephen has another question. Says, are there any other changes taking place to the structure of the courses or admissions in light of the current pandemic that may not have been mentioned? Not that I'm aware of. The only one that we had to address pretty quickly was the fact that testing centers were shutting down nationwide. And if there are any international students, working with them on an individual basis as far as language scores. But as far as our program or the structures of the program, I think what will change, and I think is going to be a great improvement, because we're always looking to improve, is this is going to bring up some very relevant topics that everyone is living right now. And we are developing a course in the fall that we can follow up with later on, maybe with our associate director, Rich Ham, highlighting some new things that are coming out in our classes. But I think this has a lot of our faculty who are very experienced and have their elbows in this game, whether it be in the government or supply chain or project management or even human resources, as far as this is going to, I think, excite them and give them energy to breathe very new and relevant and upcoming topics, I think, in our classes. So I think this will help us improve what we offer and the knowledge that we offer. And I think some really good things are going to come out of this. I think that we are above kind of the expectations being an online program. We kind of already know, how this is all working remotely, and understanding challenges and understanding what other professionals are going through. So Andrea, thank you, Stephen. Andrea says, one more question I thought of. Do these classes qualify for employee tuition assistance? She works for the U of A. And Stephen says, yep, yes, they do. Yes. We have one advisor who takes our courses. Actually, our own Blake Chapman, I think, who just left our session, our marketing coordinator, is an alum of ours. And so we have others that have taken similar paths throughout the years. So yes.
And also, I think it was Andrea's earlier question about eVersity transcripts. You can have eVersity. I guess you need eVersity to send your transcript to the U of A, but I don't think there's a charge. But I'll have to follow up on that.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Carol. And yeah, Stephen brings up a good point. We do have a lot of current employees in our program from a wide range of departments across campus, and it would be a good idea. Any sort of employee tuition assistance, the best course of action is to contact HR and the appropriate department within that to get the correct answer for that. So yeah, thank you, Stephen. Well, again, I'm going to send out some follow-up links, and I really encourage you, take a break from work, and go onto our YouTube channel and just kind of browse through the past webinars that we've offered, because it really is a great sample of the type of content and knowledge that you're going to get in our courses, because these are all, again, they're presented, all these webinars are presented mostly by our instructors who are currently teaching and currently still in the professional workforce. So I really encourage you to go on and just kind of browse through, and they're each about an hour long. There's Q&A sessions at the end, and kind of just check it out. It'd almost be like taking a mock class. Just kind of feel us out and see what we're all about.
Also, I would like to add that if you go onto our Facebook account, we have student and alumni spotlights, and you can read about their backgrounds and how they use our program as it relates to their positions. And so we have a variety of students and alumni who are highlighted, and you can see how diverse our student body is. So our program relates to every industry, every sector, and we have a lot of students, of course, from this area who are in retail, who are in logistics, supply chain, but also we have a lot of military members and those who transitioned out or who are in defense contracting work. So FedEx, Amazon. So we have a lot of students everywhere across the country and in a lot of different companies. So.
Yeah, that's a great point, Carol. Thank you for bringing that up. And I will, again, that will be one of the links that I include in the follow-up after this, is to visit our page. We hear some really wonderful stories, and those who are currently active in the military, who are completing their degrees stationed around the world, and how, specifically how they literally learned this today and went back and applied it tomorrow. And we've heard some really good stories of how folks are flourishing. And again, big and small companies. If you are a recent undergrad, a traditional undergrad student, I've heard from a lot of our students who decided after about a year or so of being out of school to come back and go ahead and get their master's. They're utilizing that 5-year window where you kind of have to stay entry level. And they're saying, I can't waste any time at this point. So while I'm, earning or gaining experience and doing my time within a corporation, then I'm going to go ahead and get my master's, because when I do reach that 5-year mark, and I am ready to advance in my career, I'm already going to have this under my belt. We have some that have returned after 20 years and said, I've got CEOs of companies that have come back and said, you know what, I'm really trying to grow my business and I think this would be beneficial. And, I want to be an example for my staff to not ever stop learning and be a lifelong learner. So it's such a wide range of people and reasons why they come, but every one of them who leaves always comes back to the same thing. I didn't know what I was missing until I took this, because it really has helped me in my career. Some have even said it's affected their personal lives and how they deal with people. So again, we have all walks of life, all majors coming in, and I think that's a great way to benefit from your fellow classmates when you are working on team projects, and build a network right there that could last a lifetime. So thank you, Stephen, for that. Stephen says, I've already taken a few courses, so he can confirm that the information has been amazing. So I always love live testimonials, Stephen. I really appreciate that. We do have Rich Ham on the line. If you all want to hold, I'm just going to switch him over to moderator if he's okay with that. I'm kind of putting him on the spot there. But we do have a new course that is being developed by Dr. Rich Ham. And if he would like to speak a few minutes on this, I'd be happy to turn the controls over to him. Rich, I've gone ahead and switched you over. Would you like to weigh in and tell the folks who joined us today about the new course that you've got undergoing here?
Sure thing. So I'd like to talk about a couple of courses that I think are going to be of interest to people. First off, I'll say this. Everything that's happening now, every course we have that's in development is focusing on current. One of the things that we do in this program is we're as agile as we can be, trying to keep up with current things. So the Homeland course, it's now in its 4th year and part of the Homeland Security Certificate, has always had an element of the Department of Homeland Security National Incident Management System that FEMA teaches. It's followed by all the transportation networks and public and private. So private industry has to follow that as well. And it starts talking about, hey, here's the security processes, here's how these come together, here's how you do a security vulnerability study and mitigation. But expanding on that, in 8-week 2 in the fall is a new course on 2 things that is specifically crisis management and resilient design and operations management. So it covers some of those, but then it gets into some of the specific all hazards situations that would happen. That could be anything from regional conflict to something that's going on like a pandemic. Talks about what do you do to do a redesign, how do you respond, how do emergency operations centers integrate, how do private industry operations managers integrate with the government, both local, state, and federal. Most people don't realize that they think, okay, well, Homeland Security, we're going to protect all this critical infrastructure, and there's actually a strategic plan. But the critical infrastructure in the United States, 85% of it is privately held. So the government doesn't own it. The government either has regulations or partnerships that explains and then holds. There's an operations manager somewhere is making sure they comply. Somewhere they comply with that, they protect that, or if there's an emergency situation, they have already established a plan that's approved in a specific process that the government will then not just rubber stamp, but look at it and make sure that it meets the requirements. So this course, I think, will be helpful to anybody that's trying to figure out, hey, here's something we never thought would happen. You'll never be able to anticipate everything that can happen. You spend a lot of time, doing risk management and assessing what could happen, but you'll never have everything planned ahead of time. But what you will have and should have as an operations manager is a process of how you work through, gather what the real risk is, gather what the consequence is and the vulnerabilities, and then how you can go from different levels and phases of operation to recover, which is the final part of one of the vulnerability techniques we teach. Is part of resilience is your ability to recover, how quickly you can do that and how you can get back to normal operations. So if anybody has questions about it specifically offline, my email is richardh@uark.edu, and I'm happy to answer that. And then I'll tell you another one that started in the fall, another course that I think is going to be highlighted that's primarily being led by Jeff Bean, and that is going to be a great course that's going to be human. Basically, it says, the course we've had for a while says human behavior, doesn't really describe it. It's really a human factors course, and it follows a method as an operations manager for you to figure out, using the scientific method, what the actual effect size is for each thing that's causing either accidents, if you're having accidents, or you're having problem with quality. You're trying to figure out what's causing my widget at the end to not be appropriate. Can I figure that out? It lets you use to test different mitigation methods, anything from training to a redesign on the line to a redesign in process, to see if you can reduce that effect and basically get rid of as much variability as you can, so that you can produce quality product, do it safely, and then also comply. So anyway, I'm excited about it, and either myself or Jeff Bean would be happy to answer questions on that if you would like to know more about that one as well.
Great. Thank you so much for all that information. Does anyone immediately have any questions for Dr. Ham while he's on the line here about those specific courses or anything else, especially in Homeland Security? That would be the guy to ask. So again, Carol, do you want to have any closing comments and have anything you want to say to the folks that are doing this today?
Yeah, well, just thank you everyone for joining us today. I appreciate taking some half an hour out of your time to learn more about the program. If you have any questions after this, please feel free to contact Karin or myself. Any of us will be happy to answer any of your questions and help you through the application process.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Carol. So yeah, this is great. I'm very pleased that so many were able to come and join us today. I didn't want this to be a long ordeal. I wanted it to be just a short presentation, but then, give you the opportunity to, ask any questions that you might have. Again, Carol or I or Rich would be happy to answer any questions concerning any aspect from admissions to types of courses, or even somebody mentioned career counseling, how can I utilize this maybe to do a career change? So we will be there for you, and look for a follow-up email within the hour from me. This session is also being recorded and will be posted up to our YouTube channel and shared on our Facebook. So if you have any colleagues or any friends or anyone else that you think might be interested in this, you can direct them to this video or pass on our contact information to whoever you think would be interested. So again, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Dr. Rich Ham for jumping in there at the last minute and sharing that information with us. And Carol, thank you for your collaboration on this and helping answer questions. And I hope everyone stays safe, stays healthy, and we'll be seeing you soon.